And now we're all going to be crying. But I will tell you that there's a lovely video at the end of... No, it's a surprise, sorry. Well, we'll be mentioning Howard later. But that's a really nice... it's a lovely way to remember him. I might get emotional now too. Sorry, Mary. Oh, okay, take a breath. But on that vein, because we've had our members of the EAG contribute to this last word, and I'll take this opportunity now to thank you so much. It is truly unbelievable how generous you have all been with your time and expertise from the beginning of this. You have been volunteering in this role really since, I think, did we have our first meeting in April? And all the way through, and all of the planning, and all the feedback, and all the proposals, and the WhatsApps over, can you check your email, because we've just got something we need to get back on ASAP. It is phenomenal. So for that, thank you. And part of the EAG role is to guide the work of the chair. I am indebted for you for that, because this massive, massive subject is so complex, and it's just so enormous. It wouldn't have been possible had we not had the expertise to feed into it from all of you. And in that, also keeping the deliberative democracy on the line. Because when I initially made a plan, I was giving you 15 minutes to talk about a half-an-hour presentation. And Clodagh said, oh, no, this is not how that works at all. We flipped that. So to all of you, I have learned so much, but not half enough, but thank you for guiding all of the work. So for everything that you have done, to Dr. Micheál O'Cinnéide, to Dr. Mary Dobbs, to Dr. Clodagh Harris, to Professor Tahaz Crowe, and Professor Jenny McElwain, and Dr. James Moran, and Dr. Ian Montgomery. We are all indebted to you, and thank you for doing this work on behalf of everyone and for the state, to the benefit of the recommendations that we'll make. So thank you. Art?
Yeah, just before Aoibhinn brings the curtain down, can I just bring you back to the first day in Dublin Castle? I don't know if anyone else remembers the very first question that was asked by a member of the Assembly, and it was Jenny. And Jenny said her question was, what does success look like? I think you've just seen what success looks like, so well done.
And so my final words now, I feel bad because everybody just got up off the cuff and were able to speak so eloquently, and I've made notes and I won't be as eloquent because there's so much to try and say at the end of this. But a couple of things that I think are worth saying, because they're coming up in a lot of the conversations that I am having now, and no doubt that you will be having as you tell your friends and families and colleagues, oh yeah, we finished that work. And they'll go, but we're grand, aren't we? And unfortunately, Ireland, we have a great reputation for being a country that can be proud of its nature and its environment. And that's the first disappointment of starting this, just like, are you kidding me? Oh no, this is terrible. How did I not know this was in such a bad state? And that's the first learning to come across when you look at biodiversity. Not everyone's going to be happy to hear that, because it's really bad news. So it's just important to keep it in mind that we can't live on that reputation now, because it's not true. But this is where we need to start from, and we need to start working towards being proud of our nature and our environment in the country again. And I do think with the work and the recommendations that we've made, it'll at least point a direction, point a road that we can start going on. I also do think I think it's momentous that the state, who's nearly a century old, has realised it's doing a bad job and asked its people to advise it how to do that better. I think that's worth recognising, do you know? That the state has said, right, this is a problem, and I'm going to ask the people who live in this country how best to do that. And it's been a fabulous process to be part of. And one line that's going to stay with me from Aoibhinn is that we have to start treating our bogs like the Book of Kells and our cultural heritage the same way as we should be doing our natural heritage. That's something I'm keeping in mind now, even with my kids, that I want to try and teach them all of the nature around them so that we do treat it all with respect. And a bee fell out of my notebook a couple of weeks ago, a dead bee. No idea how I got in there. And it was just the weirdest thing. It was just like, oh no, because my first thought was, another bee dead. Damn. But we kind of need to start thinking about that. Okay, that's a pollinator gone. What can I do now to try and bring more? And my plan is to go to the garden centre and get the pollinator. And the thing is, you have to do homework. And none of us want to do that. But I'm going to go to the All Ireland Pollinator Plan website, figure out the plants, talk to my husband, because he's much better at gardening than I am, and get them in. But if we all do our own little bit, I think that's where we start. Because this is a quote that I always try and keep in mind. Behaving and living ethically is foundation for radical social change. As in, if one person can do it, and that has an impact on one other person, that's the multiplier effect. That's social change. And so when we're waiting for everybody to do something, we have to start it. We can all make a difference, but just by behaving and living ethically. And now that we know so much about that, we can make more decisions about what ethical means, in this case, for the environment and for our future generations, as so many of the members have said. And Liam made a great point. There will be an election coming up. So it's certainly something I'm going to be keeping in mind now. Anybody that knocks on my door, I'll be asking them specifically, what are you going to be doing for the environment? And I'll ask them specifically, have you seen the recommendations from this Citizens' Assembly, and what do you think of them? And what will your party be doing to make sure they get implemented? We've got a strong document now that we can refer to. So I think we all should do that. So I'll just then go into the very many thank yous before we sign off. And as you'll all recognise, and you've all said, so much work has gone into this assembly. And to begin with, we have to thank the Secretariat. And I know we've new members here even today, but it's been all of the Secretariat collectively who've made this happen as smoothly as it did. And I'm not going to address everyone individually, but I do want to note Cathal O'Regan for all of his work, from the macro to the micro. I've literally no idea how Cathal keeps everything in his head, because even though he's doing all of the enormous management, he'll still text me and go, this hotel, you're in this room for the hotel. I'm like, how does he know this? It's insane. So from the website, the hotel rooms, everything that you kept doing, and then looking after our wording today, thank you so much, Cathal, for all of your support with that. And I know the next Citizens' Assembly will be in safe hands with you. And then to Lorraine Kavanagh for completely, unfailingly having a smile on her face, no matter what crisis or drama was happening. She's like a swan. Nothing is wrong. It will get sorted. I will just give me 10 minutes. And again, managing to make it all work so seamlessly and make it look really easy, which is always a difficult job. So thank you very, very much, Lorraine, for that. To Conor for documenting everything, recording all of our meetings, and it will be a massive part of our report, because we have to document what happened in every session, and a lot happened in our meetings. So thank you to Conor for all of that in advance of the work that we will be working on together. Thank you, Conor. And then to Caroline Winston for all of her work. And Caroline is moving on. Where is she? There she is, sorry. Congratulations on your promotion, but thank you for all of your work in this and volunteering to come back this weekend, because it's not in your new job spec, and for all of your work with regards to the submissions and summarising them in a sentence or two. That was no mean feat, so thank you sincerely to Caroline for that. And then to Lorraine and Denise and Dave, Kate, Anne-Marie, Anne, and Katie and Julianne and Louisa for taking all of the beautiful photographs. As I said, there's so much work that's happening in the background. Thank you for all of that. Thank you for making sure everything we needed was ready, for moving the mics, for all of the stuff that that I don't even know the details of. Thank you, because it's hugely important, and the photographs are really stunning as well. So thank you to each of you. Sorry, I couldn't find you there for a minute. Thank you to all of you for all of your work on that. And congratulations to Denise as well, who is going to be having a little baby in the summertime. So congrats, Denise. And now this might be where I get a little bit emotional, because I have loved this work so much. I definitely am. God damn it. I would do this now as a full-time job, for sure. Maybe not the plenaries for the recommendations, because that's tough. But everything else, I've really, really, really enjoyed it. But part of the reason I enjoyed it so much was because I was working so closely with Tim, and he's such a professional, has a gift with words, has an organised mind, wants process in there, and as much as I do. And it's just been an absolute pleasure to get to know Tim, to work with Tim, to have the odd pint with Tim, and to spend all the time deliberating and talking and joking and working on this. And it's been my absolute privilege to work with you, and I'm really hoping that we have an excuse to work together again in the future, because I'll make that happen, because I've loved working with you so much, Tim. Thank you for everything you've done for the Assembly. We'll do a hug later. And literally, you have no idea how much time Tim has put into the planning from start to finish, and the considerations. I mean, we had so many meetings over what way we should do all the meetings and the content, and then all the recommendations coming in, and this response and that, and then following the EAG. Magnificent. Thank you. And then to Art. And I already said to Art last night, I'm going to be annoying you because I've enjoyed your company too much, and I'm going to be calling you all of the time. Is that okay? So thank you, Art, for that phone call while I was doing my shopping in Dunn's. It was the worst shop ever, because I was talking to Art on my earphones and literally bought nothing that we needed in the house, because I was just going, yeah, but I don't think I'm the right person for this because I know nothing about it. And then Art saying, I think you could do it, and I'm going to have to think about it, and I've got the kids, and we'll give you a couple of days to consider. Thank you, because it's been life-changing. Like, I don't think it has been life-changing. I'm not thinking about anything in the same way. I'm far more environmentally aware, but I now know the work that I love doing. So thank you, because I think it will totally change my outlook on loads of other stuff. And it's just been a pleasure to work with you, and in the same vein, to learn so much from you, and to have the chats and the crack in the middle of it all, even when it was very stressful. And thank you for all your time, and for coming to UCD when you've far more things to be worrying about. So I think the Electoral Commission is in very, very safe hands with you and with Tim on the team as well. And thank you for looking after this so well, and I guess providing us all with the knowledge that we could trust that this would get to the end game and this would actually work, even though we're all suspicious of it at the beginning. So thank you, Art. I'll miss this. I really will. And then for people who might still be watching at home, if you are, I want to thank everybody who gave their time writing and sharing submissions to this hugely important issue. Like, I was flabbergasted with the amount of submissions that we got in, and the breadth of them, and the enormous groups that submitted, and you could see the work and the time that they've put in, and also the individuals who just had maybe one or two specific issues that they really wanted us to know about and not forget about. All of the submissions, and it really speaks to this deliberative democracy process, because I do think now the people of Ireland realise and recognise a citizens' assembly is something that I can access. A citizens' assembly is something that I can contribute to even if I'm not in the room. And I just think it speaks leaps and bounds maybe about how the population really thinks about the environment, maybe more so than we thought originally. So thank you to everyone who did submit to this assembly, and they will obviously all be shared as part of the outcomes, or they're already shared online. And also to all of the presenters who presented over the course of our meetings from May 2022 up until November. I mean, the scope, the expertise, the last minute changes that people made to come and, drive from Kerry with their kid to present to us, or you know, forgo a weekend family trip because it was important to speak with us, or to say, well, if you want me to come back next week, I can give up my weekend for free because I think this is important enough to do. Like, it is amazing, I think, across the board how people will give so freely of their time for something that they think is so important. So to all of the presenters who participated over all of the months that we were working, thank you so much. So let's give them an applause too. And now we had our sign language, our signers here for the whole time. Thank you to Sarah and Aaron today. We've had, you know, comments on social media from people specifically saying, thank you for signing this because it's been really great that I can access what's happening. So it's just really great that we're able to include that. And thank you to Sarah and Darren for doing such a great job on that. And sorry, yes, round of applause. And Art already mentioned Connor and Joe, but to mention them again, and Adam and Eddie, it's no mean feat to keep the cameras going and all of us and live streaming it and making sure it's on at the right time and keeping us all going. And then the beautiful videos that we had, which I think really contributed to the work and the conversations that we had. They were spectacular, so thank you to everyone in Pi for that. And also to Jerry on the sound. Because again, just the technical things that you don't think about, they wouldn't happen without all of you guys. So thank you so much for that. And then Ronan and Lorna on Q4, she's there she is. Busy tweeting, probably, to make sure we're on the radar, because it's something that I said to you at the beginning, it's important people know about this work. Because if they know about it, it's more likely that they'll talk about it, and the more likely then that the pressure will be on to make the recommendations happen. They've done a superb job because there's been such attention on this work from the news, the magazines, everything, the international Euronews, everything. So thank you to all of the team, and specifically Ronan and Lorna, who were here with us today. And then finally to Matt and Karine and Tina and all the team here at the Grand Hotel, we will miss you. I'm sure you won't miss us. And you'll have a brand new cohort with you, I'm sure, before long. But thank you for keeping us going when we needed the refreshers and the snacks and the sugar levels up and the caffeine and the healthy drinks and teas and lunches, and always with a warm smile and such fabulous staff to have for all of our stays. So please pass on that appreciation, Matt and Karine, to all of your team from all of us. Thank you. And I'm nearly finished now, I promise, no more clapping. At the very beginning of all of this, I referenced the Citizens' Assembly as a mehel and as something that I think is the real essence of Irish life. And it sounds twee, but we did have mehels in Carnacon, where I'm from, and I remember them because the neighbours would say, this is the day we're all going to go, and we all go to this field, and everybody helped, and everybody was just part of it, and you had a job. My job was the lemonade. I had to go to the shop to get the lemonade. But everybody did something for the benefit of the rest of the community. It was lovely. And I really think that's what this is. You gave up something and put so much time and energy into this for the benefit of the rest of the community that happens to be the country of Ireland, for your fellow countrymen. And I just think that that is really fabulous. And it's something that we can all look back on and be proud of, as you were saying, because it's the community and it's the friendships that have been, evolved here, and it's the care for others, and even the others that we don't know, like Robert said, and that NOSC, that connection with people. The room has got that, and it's been a privilege, my privilege, to work with all of you, to meet all these people from all these walks of life that I never even knew about. So thank you all for that. And I'm very confident that this assembly will follow in the traditions of other assemblies in influencing societal change. Already, I think the conversations are changing. There are more conversations happening as a result of the work that you are doing. And I promise that I'm going to continue to ensure that this work isn't ignored. And in that, I'll be talking with as many people as possible and as biggest platforms as I can to make sure that people realize this work, this reflection, this learning has happened by all of you. And I invite you to do the same with all your friends and neighbours and colleagues and communities and local councillors and TDs and your senators, and that you tell them how precious the environment is to you. And Nicole mentioned it the last time, I'm working on the slide deck, and when I have a PowerPoint, I will share it on the members page. Download it and do with it what you will. If you're going to present to the men's shed or to the local school or to your book club, put in your own photographs, but I'll suggest something that I think might be useful as a starting place to do that. You have all been wonderful representatives of the people of Ireland in this assembly. It's been my pleasure to work with you, and so Gurmahagav Okri, and I wish you well with everything, and maybe our paths will cross again. I hope they will, but just thank you.